Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite things to talk about, which is deliverability. The reason that I love talking about deliverability is because, as tempting as it might be to, create your reply account, add contacts, create a campaign and hit go, there are a lot of important things that you need to do kind of building up to turning that campaign on. And, talking about deliverability and kind of the best practices that you can make sure that you are implying in your account, it's just going to make sure that your emails are getting delivered to your prospects inboxes. They're not going to junk folders, spam folders, promotions tabs. They're not getting blocked potentially. So today we have a full CS house with us. So we have myself, we have Josh from our CS team, who I'm sure you guys have seen before. We also have Lena and Olga. So Lena is in Turkey today. We have Olga from the UK. So they're part of our wonderful deliverability team. So we've all kind of come together today to talk about this very important topic. So I'm glad you guys could all join us. Just a quick note. We will be recording today's session. I'm hoping to send out the recording to everyone who has signed up by tomorrow. There was a small glitch with our last session, so I sent out the recording and a couple of people got back to me. I guess there was a problem with the Zoom recording and it was only 3 seconds long. So I'm still looking into that with Zoom, technical difficulties. Yeah, and I will send out that recording as well. So for anyone who has signed up for either last week's sessions or today's, you should be getting those recordings by tomorrow. And as always, we like to keep this casual. We really love to engage. So, send us your questions in the chat. There's a Q&A section. So we'll be keeping an eye on those questions as we go through. We'll try to answer as many questions as we can as we go through today's session. And as always, we're going to leave about 10 to 15 minutes at the end for our Q&A session as well. So yeah, I'm going to hand it over to Josh.
Beautiful. Hello, everybody. As Stephanie has outlined, today is going to be primarily focused on deliverability, what you can do in-app as well as on the back end to help ensure that your emails are landing in the primary inbox folder of your recipients. I am going to be talking briefly about some of the things that you can do in your sequences, while Lena and Olga will dive into the much more complicated stuff that I couldn't possibly start to understand. So I will share my screen with you guys and we will get into it. And this is the correct screen this time. Perfect.
Woohoo!
So I'll just click into a random old sequence here. So the first thing that you are going to want to focus on as far as deliverability is concerned is your daily limits. You do have the option to change the amount of emails you can send on a daily basis from any particular address that you connect to your instance. The maximum within most regular accounts is going to be 400. You'll be able to click in and adjust that number to whatever you'd like. But the main thing to understand is that we are sending these emails directly from whichever email account that you connect in reply. We're not using any proxy servers. They are coming directly from your inbox. So you need to make sure that your email address is properly warmed up or prepared to send at that capacity. Again, Lena will go into our actual warm-up process, but in general, you want to start things low and incrementally increase the number of emails you're sending until you get to the number that you're most comfortable with. Some people will stop short at maybe 100 or 200 emails per day based on their use case. Others will warm up right to the top, hitting 400. It is going to be completely up to you. And depending on kind of consistency and your reputation with your email provider, your deliverability may have some ebbs and flows. So always starting low and making those incremental adjustments over time is the best way to get there. Going into the sequences, there are a couple of things that you want to consider. The main two being you want to avoid overusing links and attachments, anything really that is not text-based. The more you lean into HTML-like content, the more likely you're going to run into potential issues with hitting spam filters. So for instance, your first email is going to be your key to the kingdom. If they do not open your first message, chances are the rest of your messages are going to follow suit, and it's all for naught. So you really want to focus on keeping it as plain text and kind of data driven as you can. For instance, if I were to include, let's say I have a link to my calendar, I have my signature with another couple of links to my social media outlets, and then I also throw in, let's say, 2 articles to maybe a testimonials page and a pricing page on my website. All of that combined is turning what could potentially be a great introduction to, chances are it's probably going to end up in promotions, updates, or potentially even spam. You really want to hone in on one specific kind of type of interaction. So you really want to focus in on one link, for instance, and avoid overusing things, because you may think to yourself that you're adding in value, you're demonstrating a lot of information here, but at the end of the day, it's overload. You're actually lowering your overall chances of actually landing where you want to be by including all of that. So the idea is to spread out that information over the course of multiple steps, as opposed to jamming it all into one.
Yeah. And Josh, can I jump in for a quick second?
Yeah.
So I always like to tell this story. So this actually happened to me a few years ago. So I was sending out emails to our new customers who had signed up, and I had the best of intentions. I had about 5 links in the emails that I was sending, but they were links that would redirect, for education, information, how to utilize the platform, how to optimize the platform, and best practices and things like that. So I had really good intentions, but I had about 5 links. I had a link to my calendar. I had link tracking turned on, and I noticed that my open rates went from a typical about 40% week to week down to about 5%. So I reached out to Olga to see what was going on, and we ran some tests, and we found out that anyone who was using Gmail's or email provider, my emails were going directly to their promotions tab. Anyone who was using Microsoft, it was going to their junk folders. So I reduced the number of links in the emails that I had. Put 1 link in my email signature, which was to my calendar, because I felt like that was the most important one. And my open rates improved over time. So, I mean, I should have known better, but it happened to me. So.
Yeah, and it's a good point to bring up as well. Nice segue. Even things that are HTML based that are not directly included in your messaging can have a slight impact on where your emails land. So for instance, we include by default opens tracking on your emails. It's a super important data point for you guys to consider when tweaking your sequences, gathering data, making actionable decisions. We also enable links tracking. You have the ability to turn on links tracking if you so desire. Using the example that I started with, a brand new email that hasn't necessarily got a ton of mass mailing out in the past, if you were to turn opens and link tracking on at the same time, it may seem a little bit harmless, but just that additional link tracking may be what kind of sets you over the edge and lands you in promotions updates or even spam. We also have the option to include an opt-out link on top of all these other options. By default, we do not have that turned on for this specific reason. But if you were to want to implement the opt-out link specifically for whatever reason, that's just one other thing you need to consider when kind of looking at your sequence as a whole. So just do keep these things in mind. The more non-text-based elements you introduce, the more likely that you are going to land in somewhere where people are not looking. Ideally, it won't be spam, but if you do continue ending up in promotions or updates, that can eventually transition over. One of the other elements that I want to discuss here is kind of like a hierarchy of those HTML-based elements. We're talking a lot about links, but the same thing goes for attachments, videos, images. Even if you were to use the source code editor here and start using different types of fonts, colors, borders, things like that, they will all add up and net you to the spam folder. For instance, again, another example, if you were to order food and then maybe you opt into some sort of newsletter, almost 99% of the time, you are going to get those emails into promotions or updates because they're so image heavy. They've clearly been HTML edited. There's really no question. There's essentially a breaking point of elements you can include where you're almost guaranteed to land in those locations. So you want to do your best to keep on the plain text train and ride that all the way through. Another point to bring up here is the ability to thread your messages. As I said up top, your first email is your key to the kingdom. If you leave the subject line blank for steps 2 and beyond, the follow-up steps will be direct responses to your initial touch point. If you leave your first email largely unedited and you save room for steps 2 and 3 to include a PDF or whatever the case is, you're far more likely to get engagement on those pieces because they're in the same thread. They're going to land in the same location as the primary email. If you are using subject lines all the way through, they're going to send out independently of one another, and the chances of those follow-up steps landing somewhere else dramatically increases. So there's a lot of kind of different balls in the air that you want to consider when crafting your sequences, because it can be a make or break point. If your follow-ups are sending out independently and you do decide to jam them full of all of that information, as relevant as it may be, nobody will see it. So you do want to, again, focus in on your messaging, choose wisely the types of information that you want to include, and spread them out over the course of the entirety of that sequence.
I just wanted to hop in really quickly because there was a question in our Q&A section, and thank you, Olga, for answering our question so quickly. So there was a question from Donna saying, what if you use links in your signature? Is it the same? And so Olga had mentioned, you can use links in your signature. It doesn't mean that all emails will go to spam. It's more about the risk. So yes, sometimes links, even in your signature, can lead to spam issues, or even removing them can increase deliverability. And just to kind of expand on that, my kind of general rule of thumb, especially when it comes to links in an email signature, is if you're going to limit the amount of links that you have in your signature, think about the ones that are going to either be most important to you, your business, or to your prospects. So me, for example, I have a link to my calendar because it's really, I find that it's really convenient for the customers that I'm speaking with, just to be able to go in and kind of select a time that really works for them instead of having to go back and forth. A lot of times I see accounts where they may have their LinkedIn hyperlinked, their email hyperlinked, their business landing page hyperlinked. And so I always say, with the email address, if someone hits reply on that email, they automatically have your email address. So it doesn't necessarily have to be hyperlinked. So just think about that when you're thinking about the amount of links to put into your emails signatures.
Yes, and there's a couple of great questions in the Q&A section. Olga's doing a great job of kind of tackling those. One I do want to mention for everybody, just in case they're not paying attention to that channel, Carrie asks, is it true that firewalls and spam filters actually pre-open links to check for security risks? And as Olga mentioned, it doesn't happen 100% of the time, but email providers do run kind of security procedures and can potentially check any links or attachments that you provided. So it is possible that you will get a kind of false positive in your stats. Rule of thumb, though, is it's not going to happen multiple times. So if you have one deliver, one open, one view, that may or may not be that pre-open security check. But if you have multiple views, it's almost definitely a human interaction. It only ever procs the one time. So multiple interactions is what you're looking for in the first place. And that's a pretty good sign that a human actually did that. I think that's it for me today. I'm used to speaking for much longer than this, and I'm sure you guys are used to hearing me drone on. But the ladies are going to take it away from me today, so I will go into hiding. and I will take over Q&A if it is relevant.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, Lena's going to hop in now. Lena's going to talk about some of the more kind of technical aspects when it comes to deliverability, as well as really how to best warm up your email accounts. I know that there was a question in the Q&A, so thank you, Olga, for answering that, about how to warm up your email account. So Lena's going to talk about that right now.
Hi, everyone. I'll start to share my screen first, and so the first topic I would like to cover is the sending strategy you should choose before starting sending your email. First of all, the sending strategy is very important and at every step of your outreach. There are some recommendations that for the sending strategy. First of all, make sure your email account and your domain is ready for outreach. If you have a new email account or if you have a new domain, you need to make them ready before you start outreach. This will decrease the chance of your emails to be in the spam in the future. If you just buy your email account or your new domain, they don't have any sending reputation. And to build it, you need to warm it up and prepare it for the outreach. The warm-up process we will cover in the next topic, because I will show how warm-up works in reply, and all the details in warm-up we will cover in the next topic. So the next things I would like to mention is the opt-out option. If you reach to cold contacts, you must include a clear way to unsubscribe. Because according to the canned spam law, all emails need to have a clear option to unsubscribe. And in reply, there is two options that you can choose. You can use a text to unsubscribe, and you can set the link to unsubscribe. We usually recommend to use the link because using a link as an unsubscribe option can increase your deliverability to some mail servers. And also we recommend using custom tracking links for your tracking, for open tracking, for clicks tracking, and opt-out tracking in your sequences. To set them, you will just need to have access to your hosting. It's a very easy process, and with the custom tracking links, all your tracking will be based on your own domain, and this can improve your deliverability and help to bypass some spam filters in it. Yeah. So in reply, we have two options to limit your emails. First of all, as Joshua mentioned, we have the settings of total number of emails in a day. By default, it's 400, but if you have a new domain or new email account, we don't recommend to start with this big number. You should start with around 10, 15 emails in a day and slowly increase these values. Every 2-3 days, you can increase them slowly. And the next limit that you can set is the throttling frequency. By default, this limit is enabled, and is disabled, and to enable it, you just need to turn on the toggle here. By default, this throttling frequency limit will let you to set the number of emails per minute that will be sent from your sequences. We recommend to set one email in a minute at the beginning, and then in future, when you will have a good sending reputation, when you will send a lot of emails and you don't have any spam-related issues, you can increase this to 2 or to 3, but at the beginning, we recommend to start with the 1. Yeah. So when you set your sending limits and you want to start emails, but your email account is not ready for that, you need to warm up first your email account or your domain account, or your domain if you have a new domain. You can use either manual warm-up, just send emails to your colleagues, friends, family members, and ask them to open your emails, reply, and mark them as important. Or you can use the automatic warm-up tool. We also have warm-up in reply. And now I would like to show you how it works and the purposes for it. So the first of all, reply warm-up tool was designed to help to improve your deliverability and to restore your standard reputation. Warm-up can be used for such purposes. When you have a new domain, when you have a new email account within an old domain, but your email account is new, you can't use it just now for outreach. When your domain is in spam, so or most of the messages are coming to spam, and you need to restore your standard reputation. When you need to prepare your email account or domain for outreach that was not in use for a long time. For example, you was not using your domain for 2 years, 3 years, and you want to start using it for cold outreach. First of all, please get it ready, warm it up first, and then you're ready to go. Also, you can use warm up to warm up your templates and your signature. As we had a question about links, yeah, sometimes you can have a good domain, you can have a good email account with good standard reputation, but there is something in your links or there is something in your signature, for example, links, images, logos that can cause spam. So with the warm up, you can solve the problem. You can just warm up the signature and templates and restore their standard reputation. And also you can use warm up when you need to maintain your standard reputation. For example, you send a lot of cold emails and you just need to balance cold and warm traffics. In this case, we also recommend using warm up just to balance in this traffic. Today, for now, warm up is available for G Suite users and Office 365 users. And the price of warm up is $29 in a month for one email account. So let's see how it works. First of all, warm up is automated peer-to-peer process. You will automatically exchange emails with other warm up participants. And automatically your emails will be opened, marked as important, removed from spam in case of spam delivery, and replied. All the manual work you will need to do is to set the filter for incoming messages. This will help to protect your inbox from being flooded from with the emails from warm up. Once you signed up for email warm up, you will start to receive emails from other warm up participants, as well as they will begin to receive your emails. Please do not remove these emails. Do not mark them as spam. Please create the inbox filter and just keep all those emails in that folder. I'll show you later how to set up the filters, but it's really a very easy process. It will just take a couple of minutes. First, let's go to my account and I'll show you how to add your account to warm up. The warm up page looks like this, and here you can see the red plus button, and here you can choose email accounts that are available for warm up. Again, you can choose from G Suite accounts and Office 365 accounts. So let's add it to the warm up. This is a main page of warm up where you will see such settings as a daily goal, email sent, and a warm up profile. What is a warm up profile? Here's two options you can choose. You can choose either reputation protect mode or a new email account mode. If you need to warm up your new email account, of course, you can choose new email account and Reputation protect mode you can choose in case you need to restore your sender reputation, or if you need to maintain your sender reputation. If the difference between to this profile is just the percentage of emails we will open and reply, because in both cases we do not open 100% of emails, because this may look suspicious for providers. Now let's check how to activate the warm-up. First of all, you will need to turn on the toggle here. This is how the warm-up page shows and looks like, and here you can see the code that helps you to set the filter for incoming emails. I'll now show you how to set the filter in it for G Suite users and for Outlook users. So first of all, we will need to copy this code and navigate to your G Suite account to the settings page. See all settings, and now we will need to choose filter and blocked address. Here we will need to create a new filter for your incoming emails from warm-up. And to paste here your code. Now let's create the filter. All you need to choose here will be skip the inbox, mark, and to forward apply the label. Here we will need to create a new label for emails from warm-up. For example, we can type here reply. Oops, sorry, reply warm-up. And all emails with this code will be stored. Under this label. Let's start from the beginning. So you will need to skip the inbox, choose the skip inbox, never send it to spam, and always mark is important. And let's choose again the label. And also, if in case you have already connected your email account to warm-up before, you can also use this chat box, and all emails that are currently in your inbox from warm-up, they will be stored under this label as well. So that's it. Now let's create a filter. And here you will see reply warm-up, and all emails from now will start to come to this label. Let's do the same with Outlook account. So all we need to do is navigate to the settings page here and to find filters. We will need to create a new rule. So let's create it, and let's copy the code from here again. Example warm-up and condition. As the condition, the subject should include message body should include. And here we will paste the code that we copied, and we can add the action that will move all emails with this code to the folder that we will now add here. So let's add again reply warm-up folder. And here the button is safe. It's not visible now, but it's here. So starting from this, all your emails will come to the labels on the reply warm-up. Again, please do not remove these emails and do not mark them as spam, because it can hurt someone else's reputation. Now let's get okay.
And sorry, Lena, I'm just going to hop in really quickly. Creating those inbox filters, I think, is really important. I know for me, when I first signed up for warm up, I was seeing a lot of emails in my main inbox. And I may have deleted a couple, not realizing that it was part of warm up. So I did exactly what Lena just said not to do. So learn from my mistakes, create the filter either in your Gmail or Microsoft account. It is going to help quite a bit, just in terms of, not cluttering up your main inbox, but also making sure that you don't delete those emails.
Yeah, thank you. So let's come back to the warm-up profile and the warm-up page and see how it looks like and the section that we have here. So the next section is a chart bar. In this chart bar, you will see the planned emails, and also when your emails will come, you will see the categories. For example, if they come to inbox, the categories, to spam, or if they were bounced. And next one, you can set this. Now you can here you can also set the daily goal and the daily increment. So the daily goal is maximum for now is 50 emails in a day. We do not want to send more because it may also look suspicious for mail servers. That's why the maximum number of emails in warm-up is 15. And the daily increment is the number of emails you will add to your previous amount every day. So for example, for today, it's planned 3 emails. For tomorrow, it's planned 6 emails, then 9 emails, and 12 emails, and so on. So you will reach the maximum in a couple of days, not in a couple of days, in a couple of weeks probably, but it will be gradually, and it will protect your sender reputation from any problem in future. Also, the next section is templates. We have an option to add your account signature and use it in warm-up as well. Also, to add it, you can just enable the toggle here and click on save. And also, there is an option to add your own templates. So in reply, you can use either auto-generated templates, means our own templates, or you can use your own templates. Of course, we always recommend to use your own templates because sometimes something in your templates can cause spam. It can be your logo, some keyword or some picture, anything that can cause spam. That's why it's good to warm them up as well. If you want to use your own templates, you will need to choose custom templates from the drop-down list and to choose, of course, the template you would like to choose. Don't forget about this, please. Yeah, so starting from this, you will use warm-up, and after warm-up is over, you can start campaign, but please do not start with the big number. This is a common mistake of other customers that are just finished warm-up process and they start with 100 or 200 of emails in a day. This also can cause some deliverability issues in future. You should start with very small numbers of emails, around 10, 15 emails in a day, and slowly increase them. You can do it manually, just set the limit of email accounts and change them every day, for example, here. Or you can use a new feature. Actually, it's not new, but almost new. The feature name is ramp up mode for email account. To enable it, you will need to go to the safety settings of your email account and turn the toggle on. So the ramp up is a feature that helps to increase your daily volumes very gradually and automatically. The feature is available for just for warm-up users, and it is designed to. The main reason for this feature is to increase your daily sending limits very slowly. So here's 2 settings that you can set. The first one is the starting amount. Starting amount is the number of emails you will send in the first day. For example, today, if you just enable this feature. For example, you would like to start with 10, And the ramp up value is the number of emails you will incrementally add to the starting amount. For example, today you will send 10 emails from the sequences. Tomorrow it will be 20, and the day after tomorrow it will be 30. And once the limit of your email account is reached, this daily ramp up mode will be automatically switched off. And here you will get the notification that the ramp up mode for particular email account is over. And after this, you can, of course, continue sending emails. But again, ramp up mode is the next step after warm up we recommend to use that will help to, at the first time after warm up, it will help to increase your emails very gradually, very stable, and with no splashes as recommended. So I think that's all for the warm up. If you have any questions, please let me know. I see some questions in the chat. Maybe we should cover them now or later. Stephanie, how do you think?
Well, Lena, I have a question for you, actually. So this is a question that I get from customers when I'm speaking to them about warm up. So a lot of customers ask, while their email accounts are being warmed up, so whether they're doing it manually or they're using the automated warm up feature within their account, are they able to start campaigns and run campaigns as their email accounts are being warmed up?
At the same time, you mean?
Yes.
Actually, you can do this, but we don't recommend, because if you need, for example, if you need to restore your sender reputation and your emails are coming to spam, there is no need to send emails if they're coming to spam right now. But for example, if you want to maintain your sender reputation and just to balance your cold and warm emails, of course you can do this. But do not send too much cold emails. For example, if you have 50 emails in warm up, but you have 400 emails in cold emails, this will not help to balance. So maybe send a little bit less than this maximum numbers of emails. But of course you can do this. Yeah.
So there's another question in the Q&A that I think Olga's answering now, but I'll just kind of mention it just for those who are watching and kind of listening in. So Silvo asks, I'm planning to set a warm up for 6 to 7 days before starting my first campaign. Is this going to be enough time?
6 to 7 days. Can you please repeat the question? I just missed it.
Yeah. So Silvo's asking, he's planning to set a warm up for 6 or 7 days before starting his first campaign. So is that going to be enough time to warm up the account?
If you have a mail account that is 6 or 7 days old, of course, it's not enough. First of all, you need to warm it up at least 2 to 3 weeks. And after this, you're safe to start your campaign. But if you just want to improve your reputation of your domain a little bit and you don't have enough time for this, yes, maybe 6, 7 days. Yes, you can also use it as to warm up, just to improve your reputation a little bit.
Yeah, and Olga made a good point when she answered the question. Olga did also mention that it also depends on your previous domain history as well. So that's something to take into consideration when you're thinking about the length of time that you're going to be warming up your email accounts or your domain.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next topic I would like to cover is also very important for your sending strategy and your sending reputation. Is your domain records and your domain configuration. So before starting your outreach, please make sure your domain is properly configured, because misconfigured domain settings can cause spam and your email can be rejected because of this. Domain settings are really crucial for good deliverability. And we usually recommend to set at least 3 main domain settings: SPF record, DKIM signature, and DMARC record. Let me quickly cover what these records and show you some cool new feature that we have in reply that we will soon will be oh my god, it will be soon in production. So the SPF records is a standard policy framework record. SPF records identify all mail servers and IP addresses that allowed to send emails on behalf of your domain. So receivers will check your SPF record and verify all incoming messages are coming exactly from that mail servers that you organization that you allowed to send. For example, if you use G Suite, and you should yes, you should mention this. You should add the record for G Suite to your SPF record. If you use Office 365, you also need to add the records for Office 365 to your SPF record. All email servers have their unique SPF record. If you need to find it, you can navigate to the support section of your mail providers, or you can just or you can call support or write in the chat, and they will help you with this configuration. The next important record is DKIMA signature. Its domain key identifier mail is a secure encrypted digital signature that we add that are added to the header of your messages, and this signature allows to receivers to verify that your emails are actually authorized. The DKIMA signature should be generated at the site of your email provider, and then you will need to add it to your hosting at DNS area. And the third record we recommend to set is DMARC record. So DMARC record is domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance. DMARC records announce what an email receiver should do with non-aligned emails if it's received. And DMARC record contain the policy which domain owner wants to use. So it's up to you. You will choose the domain policy. You will choose the domain policy with your IT person and set it in your DMARC record. The next record I would like to mention is MX records, mail exchange record. Those records are responsible for directing emails and to specific email servers. These records are very important. Please, before starting warm up, make sure your MX records are correct, because in case you don't have them, you will not be able to receive emails, and it can cause some problems in warm up. And yes, so the new feature that I would like to talk about is email account health check. This is a new feature. It's now available only in closed beta, but it will be in open beta in a couple of days. And in a couple of weeks, I hope it will be also available for all users. I'll now show you how it looks like. And yeah, so you can let's navigate to the setting page, and the domain health is available in the email account settings, and as well as in warm-up page. So let me show you how it looks like. Email account health is performed live, so that's why we were waiting a little bit, and we check SPF record, DKIMA, DMARC, also domain age, and MX records. These two records are available only for warm-up users, because we need to send and detect a couple of emails from your warm-up to check those records. So also you can check same records here in the warm-up page. Yes. So, and if some of these records are not set, they will be red. I have one in my account that it doesn't have DKIMA. So once if you're if one of your records is not set, the record will be red and it will start to be clickable. And once you click on this record, you will automatically send a message to our reply support, and the deliverability team will check your domain and will provide you with some recommendation on how to set these records, and they will send you a guide on how to set your domain records. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions, let me check. Or you can also send me a question about warm-up, about DNS check, and about any deliverability questions to Alina at reply.io. And yeah, thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for that, Lena. Now Stephanie and I are going to have slideshows for the rest of our live streams. Thank you.
I think Lena just upped the bar a little bit on us. Josh and I usually don't have slideshows. So thank you, Lena. That was very informative.
Thank you.
All good.
I know it was really great, and especially, Lena, thank you for mentioning that new account health feature that we have rolling out soon. That's really, really important. Kind of back to what I said at the beginning of the call, deliverability is one of those things that you absolutely have to consider before starting any type of outreach. So the more we talk about this, or the more customers that ask about it on onboarding sessions, the happier I am. So. And I did want to mention something. So there was a message in here from a customer. This is from Dan. Well, it's not really a question, but he just wanted to say a big thank you to Lena for helping him set up all of his DNS improvements, which were far beyond his understanding. So just another shout out to Lena. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. There were a couple of questions that were brought up that were covered. Again, I just want to bring them up very briefly in case people missed them. One, again, by Carrie, I've noticed that even though I'm using the email validation option, I'm still receiving a large percentage of undeliverable emails, pausing my sequences. How do I solve this issue?
I can answer. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there is a lot of reason why you can get bounces. It's not only because of your invalid contacts. But for us to solve the issue, we need to see those bounces. If you are reply users, please send us the message with the screenshot, or you can just forward those bounces, and we will check them, and we will try to help you identify the reason for those bounces. Because, as I said, it's not just connected to invalid email accounts. There's a lot of other reasons that can cause bounces.
Yeah, there's 3 different kind of categorizations when you run contacts through: invalid, risky, and valid. Invalids automatically get exempt from receiving emails. So even if they do find their way into your sequences, you don't need to worry about them actually receiving anything. But the riskies are essentially a 50-50. And it's going to be up to you whether you want to continue sending emails out to those contacts or not. But they do run the risk of still coming back as bounces. So do keep that in mind when you are using the validation feature.
And I think also just
to add about risky contacts. If you have a lot of risky contacts, but you still want to send emails to them, you can add them part by part to your sequences, and this will help you to control your bounce rate and to prevent your sequences from being suspended.
And that's exactly what I was going to say as well. So thank you, Lena. Exactly the same thing. I've seen risky emails get delivered. I've seen them get open. I've seen replies come from risky emails, but I've also seen them bounce. So yeah, to Lena's point, if you do, validate your email addresses, which we highly recommend that you do. If you do have a lot of riskies coming back, maybe activate them in small numbers. That way you're not taking the chance that you're going to activate maybe 200 risky contacts and they're all going to bounce at the same time, because then your bounce rate is going to shoot right through the roof. So yeah, slowly add them to your sequences for those risky contacts. Definitely. We have a question from Juan. Do you recommend having different threads in every step of a sequence? So Josh, I think you had mentioned that at the beginning of the call when you touched on content for deliverability.
Yes. So we do not recommend that you have an individual email for every kind of step in your sequence. The reason being, just from a just kind of perception point of view, put yourself in the seat of the receiver here. Would you rather get 5 or so emails from someone you don't know, or just one kind of cohesive thread that you can refer back to? It just looks spammier than you want it to if you are sending out that many individual steps. And it's a lot harder to keep track of all of the information. For example, if I'm on vacation, I get 4 emails from you guys, and then I come back, I'm just going to be like, who the hell are you? And probably ignore everything. It may be super vital information, but it's just presented in a way that's not necessarily the best. As far as deliverability is concerned specifically, you run the risk of getting your emails into those supplementary folders the more you send one-offs if they contain links, attachments, images, things like that. If you're just sending plain text emails independently, there's no real difference there. It just comes down to the perception option.
Absolutely. And just kind of looping back to what we talked about with risky emails. So Josh had mentioned that we do have email validation within the platform. So it is a paid add-on. And we do highly recommend that you verify and validate your email addresses prior to sending out to those contacts. And so like Josh mentioned, there are 3 statuses. So there's valid email addresses, which means they're good to go. Invalid email addresses, which obviously means they're invalid. The platform will not send to anyone who has been marked as an invalid contact. So you don't have to worry about rushing into your account and deleting them right away. We just will not send to them. And then, like we were kind of discussing, the third is a risky contact. And so, like we said, just best practice with risky contacts, if you do have a high volume of them, just activate a few at a time.
Absolutely. And before we wrap up, there was one other question that I wanted to bring back up here from Dan. He says, I didn't warm up before my first campaign and probably sent out too many emails on the second and third sequences. Is it too late to warm up now, or is it worth to do it before my next one? It's never too late. There's always a chance to kind of bring it back. So if you do feel like you are in any sort of kind of deliverability trouble, we have a setting for that: reputation protect, warm up. There's different options designed for different circumstances, and warming up after the fact is still better than trying to trudge through. Because if you continue to deliver incorrectly when you're already in spam issues, you're just digging yourself a deeper hole, and eventually you'll dig one that you can't get out of. So it's not too late. You can use the warm up even if you've already kind of started off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I think we have another question. Let's take a look at that one. Are there any limits on the length of the email? How many characters can it contain if we are talking about plain text email? So there's not a technical limit in terms of how many words or characters you can put in the body of the email. There are some best practice limitations that we typically recommend. Josh can maybe kind of speak to this a bit more in detail in a couple seconds, but ideally, when you are sending emails, you want to, keep them short and concise. And this is more to do with the fact that, your prospects are not likely going to read an email that has 10 paragraphs. If anything, they may skim it. We typically recommend about 140 to 150 characters, or 3 concise paragraphs, because people typically don't read past their paragraph of an email.
Exactly. Let me share my screen briefly here. So you can, when you're writing your emails, this kind of qualifier will appear, and you can hover over the different ranges. They're not exact. If you go under or over slightly, you're going to be fine. The idea is to contain as much of your information in a conversational and concise manner. This will stop working if you go to about 250 words. That doesn't mean you're going to run into spam issues or deliverability issues. It just means that the qualifier is no longer going to look at your content because it's deemed too long. That has nothing to do with whether the email will actually be sent or not. It's just about these numbers here. Do we have anything else?
I don't think we have any more questions, and we're almost out of time. We have about 5 minutes left. So I mean, if anyone does have questions, throw them in now. I do want to say a special thank you to Lena and Olga for joining us today and really sharing their expertise. So a lot of, we didn't really get to hear a lot from Olga today, but Olga was in the background answering all the questions that we had coming either in the chat or the Q&A and sharing her expertise that way. So thank you very much for that, Olga. And obviously Lena, was sharing her expertise with us live. So thank you for joining us, Lena. If any of you have questions, anyone who's watching, if you guys have any questions about deliverability, there's a whole team here that wants to help you out. So you can reach out to our support team via live chat. They will connect you with Lena or Olga, or you can email us. So Lena@reply.io or Olga@reply.io. And always you can reach out to myself. So Stephanie@reply.io or Joshua@reply.io. We're always here ready to help you and answer any of the questions that you have. Like I said earlier, I will be sending out the recording of the session probably tomorrow, the day after, just hopefully I don't have the technical glitch with Zoom again. Hopefully it's not 3 seconds long.
All that work, Lena, just gone.
Also, I'm sorry, and quickly before we go, one more question came in. Is the Gmail filtering process for warm-up listed in a support document? I do believe that it is. I do believe that is where I myself learned how to create an inbox filter. So yes, Adam, you can definitely find it there. And one more question. I love that Reply does cold outreach, validation, and warm up in one platform. Currently, I'm using another tool for warm up. Is it safe to switch to Reply's warm up tool before the process is complete?
I think that one's more for Lena and Olga. My concern would be you have to understand how many emails you've already sent out, how far along that warm-up process you already are, unless you're willing to start from scratch again. It just can be a little bit more confusing, but I don't see why it would cause an issue beyond that, unless I'm mistaken.
Yes, and we don't recommend to use, for example, warm-up, but use your same email account for outreach outside of warm-up. For example, you send a lot of emails with some other third-party tool, and at the same time you try to warm up your email account in Reply. It may not work as you expected because the cold and warm number of emails need to the number of warm emails need to be more than cold ones. That's why first of all, you can stop using the cold outreach outside and then warm up your email account, and then you can continue to use your email account.
Okay. All right, so I think we have one more question and 2 minutes left. So this question is for Donna. How is Reply's warm-up different from GMAS? Olga or Lena, did you guys want to take that one?
Hey Donna, as I understand, GMAS is used for outreach, and Reply warm-up is like a peer-to-peer tool that is designed to improve your reputation. So the purpose of GMAS is different from the purpose of warm-up, unless there is some GMAS warm-up tool that I'm not aware of that can be also possible.
Yeah, I personally haven't heard of GMAS before. And as was mentioned, we're literally sending emails back and forth between other people that are signed up for our warm-up tool. So for all intents and purposes, you are having authentic conversations with real individuals just in the background. So while you're increasing the number of messages that you can send on a daily basis, you're also increasing your reputation. Think of it as just a kind of sliding scale of engagement. A lot of people will start their cold initiatives just by kind of signing up and letting the emails go. We're creating that back and forth. We're creating a history of engagement for you. So email providers won't just look at your messages, see that no one has actually responded to you, and then block you for looking like spam or whatever reason. I'm not sure if GMAS does that, but that's kind of how ours works.
All right, so I think we are at we're at 2 o'clock. We're at time, and I think we got to every single question. Yay!
Woo!
Team effort. I wish we could have Lena and Olga on every time.
We'll just do deliverability calls, you know.
Every single time.
That's it.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, again, as always, thank you everyone for hopping in and joining us today, taking an hour out of your afternoon to talk deliverability. Thanks again to Lena and Olga, and as always, Josh, for joining us as well. Again, the recording will be sent out probably tomorrow or the next day. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to anyone on our team. So have a great day, guys.
Have a good one. Thank you all so much.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.